Break-even trading the NASDAQ. Ladies and gentlemen, this one did me fucking dirty. Not really. I mean, this is a funny one. Dude, we had, check it out. So I'm going off the 4-hour time frame. I got to log this here in TradeZilla. Technically speaking, you know, from my entry point yesterday afternoon, we did not hit stop loss. So if you were to just set it, forget about it, and move on, it is what it is. I woke up this morning and I saw we're all the way up, somewhere up in here, and I go, oh, I'm going to move my stop loss to break even, and we'll just see what happens. The thing about this one is that, I kid you not, now I made a mistake. So I'll get into that. This is what I do, though. I move my stop to break even once we're up this much. This is what I do. It's not like I'm changing anything. This is what I do. But the structure overall is fine. Like, this just is like a back test for now. Maybe it unravels and we go down, whatever. For now, it might bounce back up. So you can say, oh, you're a fucking dumbass. You should have just left it alone. Valid points. But if I trade that way and then I go back this way, I try to keep it as consistent as possible. You know? But I should have made money on the trade. Simple as that. Should have made money. Simple. This was about a 1.75 to 1 risk reward. If you notice, we got so close. To take profit. So that's kind of what rubs me the wrong way from how I handle this, because I was sitting there eating. I came back from the gym. I was eating my eggs. And I was like, my target was to make $300 roughly on the trade. I was up $290. And I say, not that the dollars necessarily matter, but just to kind of show you like how close it was. And the thought went through my head that was like, oh, just take it off here. You know, the market's about to open. We can take it off. And I was like, well, you know, market might open, it might spike through and, you know, give us a little bit of an upper wick, and we wipe our hands clean, is what it is. So I left it alone. Looking back, hindsight, oh, you should have taken it off. Oh, yeah. But I moved my stop loss to break even. This is what I do to minimize the downside risk of, you know, being that close to take profits. Like, we can't lose. Now, where I went wrong, though, is I did not do a good enough job of mapping this out big picture. So obviously breakout, we like the looks, cool, great, whatever. But the idea really kind of originated from QQQ. And this is how I was playing the NASDAQ futures. But QQQ's chart, I mean, come on. If you were on the live stream from Thursday morning, you would have saw the beginning of this. The thought process here, my view was, I'm going to target this gap fill. You say, oh, we got the gap fill. Right? We hit that target. We did. I didn't do a good enough job of mapping out. Now, if I wanted to look for more, great, but I should have taken the majority of the profits off the table at that point. I did not do a good enough job of mapping out where this gap fill, which was around 493.25, where that point would be relative to my trade on the NASDAQ futures or whatever I fucking trade. I don't even know. Whatever, the NASDAQ. So, because I didn't trade QQQ. I traded the NASDAQ, which essentially allows me to trade pretty much 24/7. So the bulk of the move happened overnight, which I would have had to hold through an overnight gap, which is risky, you know. Either way, I did not do a good enough job of mapping this out. Had I done so, this absolutely should have hit my take profit, and it should be a winning trade, not a break-even trade. So this is kind of like, you know, a little bit, not a big deal, right? You know, in the grand scheme, not a big deal. By the way, we're growing the locks out. I haven't gotten a haircut in since end of mid-June. It's September 26th. How long can we go? I don't know. I like it though. I'm keeping it, you know, keeping it nice. It's coming in nice. But no. So this comes down to, like, you know, are you taking it serious or are you not? And if I was taking it serious, I would have done a better job of mapping this out. Simple as that. Simple as that. Or I would have woken up this morning. I didn't do this. Would have woken up this morning when I saw we were getting close, when I was eating my breakfast, my toast, I should have said, you know what, where is that gap fill on QQQ? Oh, it's at 493.50. Oh, wait, we're up here this morning at 494 in pre-market. You know what, let me just take this off. That's what I should have done. I just didn't do that. In the grand scheme, is it a huge deal? I don't think so, but it's little things like this that can easily add up. You know, you flip this from a break even to a win, and that could, you know, and this happens maybe a couple times a year, that could be a needle mover in your P&L, you know? So it's important to see this and say to myself, hey, if I ever get into this situation again, let's be proactive and unlock the gains instead of try to look for more. And so, or, you know, it's just not that I was looking for more. I wasn't getting greedy. I was just being not a dumbass. I was just kind of letting it go. It's like, yeah, it's going to be close enough, roughly. Yeah. I mean, I think a little more detailed oriented than that is kind of my view. Okay. So I'm going to go in here and log this bull flag. It was a good trade. I mean, it would have been a good trade. Had you played it, good breakout, got a good move. It happened all overnight though. You know, all this happened overnight, which is kind of a bitch. And that's kind of the deal. Like, I got to put the picture of this in there because it is a funny one to put in. But the whole thing is like overnight, not overnight. You got a good move. You got a good thrust in your direction. And you just didn't capitalize on it and didn't lock the gains when you should have. Now, if I was to go back in time, the only reason I'm saying that as a negative is because of QQQ. If this, now, is this a humongous deal? I don't know, but just for the way I see the market, how I trade, and how this plays into my strategy, if there's a gap to fill and it lines up pretty nicely with my risk reward, like that's my target. Like straight up, simple as that. That's my target. That's it. You did have a little bit more room to this volume node in the volume profile. So in the back of my head, I was kind of like, you know, that's kind of what drew me to leave. Not what drew me, but that's when I was looking at the trade over here on the future side. You know, that's what kind of said, oh, you're probably fine. Like looking at this thing, my target right here. Oh yeah, that's still below this volume node. You're probably fine. That'll be good. You know, that's close enough. But I just didn't get a little more detailed. Little more detail oriented there. I think that was, you know, would have been helpful. So that's the deal. I have a couple positions that are currently open that are potentially, well, one's kind of up, one's kind of down. Either way, I haven't fully explained the P&L. There's some green in there that I have not accounted for in a trade recap. That's because I'm still kind of in the position. I had to take some partials and stuff. Not necessarily on my decision, but that will be talked about soon. I might, as I'm looking at this right now, I don't know. There'll be a video coming out soon on Netflix and on Roku, I believe. I think Netflix, I may, if it can't close decently today, you got a couple more hours, 3.5 hours. If it can't close decently with like a little bit of a lower wick here, I will just get out of it and take the L. Not a big L, but I'll take the L. And then Roku, kind of the same thing. If this one, it's better. It's better. I'll likely leave that one and then potentially have a recap in a couple of days whenever I get out. Or if it ends up kind of bouncing back and maybe I hold through it. We'll see. So I'm kind of cleaning up some shop. There's some positions that are left over, but they're very minimal risk from here. Roku is actually a break-even risk on the rest. And then Netflix is a very small risk. Not very small, but it's a small risk from where it is right now. So we're not risking a lot. So our P&L shouldn't move a ton, but it might drop a little bit, a couple $100 max with those. I don't envision a new swing before the end of the month. We have 2 more trading days before the end of the month. Here, I'm kind of covering it up. All the good stuff was Thursday and Friday. I don't envision I don't see anything that looks interesting. We kind of are in, I know this is getting long, but I think it's good to talk through it. And this is just me kind of talking to myself here. Like, we're kind of in an environment where the S&P is at all-time highs, and it did just have a potential for a breakout, which it did just do, and then completely unravel. But the thing is, we're not breaking out and then going boom, get fucked, like hammer down, like you know what I mean. Maybe that could change by the end of the day. It could completely unravel this afternoon, and maybe that's a different story. But it's just kind of the way it feels is like like we're trying to go. You know, she's like opening the door and then closing it right in our face. You know, you're moving, you're going on that date. Things seem like they're going well. You're hanging out, you're laughing, you're having fun. And then she goes like this at the end. And you're like, oh, dude, no way. Like a fist bump, dude. Like that's kind of how it feels. So it's like we are not in this momentous environment. You know, we're just like, despite the market's up at all-time highs and stuff, we're just not like, we're not getting that follow through. We're not really there. And you can even kind of see it like for example, like Netflix, like, whoa, look at that daily candle. Holy fuck, that looked gross. Like you wouldn't see that necessarily in a momentum environment. If you jump over to, I think it was Roblox, another one. Now, is the Russell down today? No, the Russell's actually up almost 1% as I speak. Roblox looked pretty good yesterday. Boom, down 5% today. So like, you're just not like, you know, no, this is hand picking. Yes, I get it. But you're just not seeing like, you know, the breakouts being breakouts. And like, it's just like, not bad. I mean, you manage risk. I mean, I'm managing, I think, okay. There were some mistakes at the beginning of the month that I made that if I want to have them back, I would be up a decent, you know, I have a good month. There was obviously this trade that we talked about in this video. You know, we had the potential to put together a really good month, but it's just like, again, it's just not like we're not getting that follow through, which is absolutely fine. It's fine. You know, just being aware of that and understanding it, feeling it, seeing what price action looks like when it's good for your strategy, when it's not optimal for your strategy, feeling it, getting a good sense of that so that you have that experience for when we have good and bad times, because they will oscillate back and forth in the future. It's managing the bad times as good as possible, sitting back, being okay with it, and then hitting it when we're good. Like when it's good, boom, boom, we're winning, you know? And then, you know, you make up for the periods where it's slow. That's the recap. I'll link up TradeZilla below. Code TC10 saves you 10%. I pay full price for this. I pay yearly. You don't have to, but use the discount code if you ever use them. If it's not mine, use somebody else's because they have discount codes. I'll see you guys in the next one. Peace.